Hello, and welcome to Sarah and Paul Conversation. Today, Sarah and Paul are talking about the world's most popular sport and the biggest sporting event on the planet, the FIFA World Cup 2026. Here we go.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Sarah and Paul Conversation. We have a very special episode for you today.
Hello, everyone. And I have to say, this is the episode I have been waiting to record since we started this podcast, because today we are talking about football.
Football, and not just football in general. We are talking about the World Cup 2026, which is happening right now, this summer across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. The biggest World Cup in the history of the tournament.
48 teams, 16 host cities, 3 countries on one continent sharing the biggest event in sport. It's extraordinary, and the whole world is watching.
And we thought, what better moment to talk about the language of football? Because if you want to follow the World Cup in English, whether you're watching the commentary, reading match reports, talking with friends, or following the news, you need the vocabulary. You need to understand what people are saying when the excitement is at its highest.
And football vocabulary is incredibly rich. It has its own world, its own grammar, almost. Native speakers use dozens of specific terms that don't appear in standard language courses. And yet, you hear them constantly during a tournament like this.
Let's start with the most fundamental thing, the pitch. In British English, the playing field is called the pitch. Not the field, not the court. The pitch. The grass rectangle where everything happens. American English tends to say field or soccer field, but in global football culture, pitch is universal.
And from the pitch, you build outward. There's the goal, the frame with the net at each end, the goal post, the crossbar, the horizontal bar across the top. When a shot hits the crossbar and bounces out, it's one of the most agonizing moments in football. You hear commentators say, off the woodwork, referring to the frame of the goal. He hit the woodwork, the ball came back off the post. So close.
Off the woodwork is such a vivid expression. You can almost hear the sound of it.
You can. Now, the players. Let's go through the positions. Every football team has 11 players, and their roles have specific names. The goalkeeper, sometimes called the keeper or the goalie, is the only player allowed to use their hands and only within their own penalty area. The goalkeeper's job is to prevent the ball from crossing the goal line. They are the last line of defense.
That phrase, last line of defense, has entered everyday English completely. We use it for anything that is the final protection against a bad outcome. The goalkeeper is, quite literally, the last line of defense. And the expression carries exactly that weight. Everything depends on this one person or barrier now.
Then, the defenders, or the defence. Their primary job is to protect their own goal. A centre-back plays in the middle of the defensive line. A full-back plays on the left or right side. When a defence is working well, commentators say they are holding a solid defensive line or keeping their shape.
Shape is such an interesting word in football. A team's shape is its formation, the tactical arrangement of players on the pitch. A 4-3-3, for example. 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, 3 forwards. Or a 5-4-1, which is much more defensive. The shape determines how a team attacks and how it defends. And when things go wrong, commentators say the team lost its shape, meaning the organized structure broke down.
And then the midfielders, the engine room of the team. They link the defence and the attack. A holding midfielder stays deep, protecting the defenders. An attacking midfielder plays further forward, creating chances. And wingers operate on the sides of the pitch, running with the ball at pace and delivering crosses into the penalty area.
A cross. Tell us about that.
A cross is when a player, usually a winger, kicks the ball from the side of the pitch into the centre near the opponent's goal for a teammate to attack. It's one of the most exciting moments in football when it works. A perfectly flighted cross met by a header from a striker. A header is when a player uses their head to direct the ball, and a well-timed header from a cross into the goal is one of the great sights in the sport.
And the strikers, or forwards, the players whose primary job is to score goals.
The strikers, often the most celebrated, most discussed, most criticised players on the team, because they are judged by a single measure: goals. A striker who scores is a hero. A striker who misses chances, especially in a World Cup, carries that weight for years. There's a phrase in football commentary: he will not want to see that again, when a striker misses an open goal and the replays show it repeatedly. The cruelty of slow motion.
He will not want to see that again. That's such a polite way of saying something devastating.
Ha ha! It is. British understatement at its finest. Now, let's talk about the key moments in a match. Because a football game is built around specific events, each with its own vocabulary.
A foul is when a player breaks the rules, usually by making illegal contact with an opponent. Pushing, tripping, holding, sliding into a player dangerously. The referee awards a free kick to the team that was fouled. A direct free kick means the player can shoot directly at goal. An indirect free kick must touch another player first.
And then there's the penalty, the most dramatic, most nerve-shredding event in football.
A penalty is awarded when a foul occurs inside the penalty area, the large rectangle in front of each goal. The fouled team gets a one-on-one shot from the penalty spot, 12 yards from goal. Just the taker and the goalkeeper. And the statistics say the penalty taker should score more often than not. But the pressure, in a World Cup in front of millions of people, is immense. Penalties have decided World Cups. They have broken hearts and made legends.
A penalty shootout, when the match is level after extra time and the two teams take turns shooting penalties, is one of the most compelling things in sport. The tension is almost unbearable to watch, and the vocabulary around it is fascinating. Players talk about stepping up, taking the responsibility of walking to the spot, about holding your nerve, staying calm under pressure, about the goalkeeper guessing right, diving the correct way.
And offside? The rule that confuses almost every new football viewer.
Offside is one of those concepts that takes time to understand fully, but the principle is this. A player is in an offside position if they are closer to the opponent's goal than both the ball and the second-to-last defender when the ball is played to them. It exists to prevent players from simply standing next to the goalkeeper and waiting for the ball. The offside trap, where defenders deliberately move forward at the moment the ball is played to catch an attacker in an offside position, is one of the great tactical weapons in the game.
VAR, the video assistant referee, has made offside decisions both more accurate and considerably more controversial. Matches are now paused for minutes while technology analyses whether a player's armpit was fractionally beyond the defensive line. Football fans have strong feelings about this.
Very strong feelings. Now, let's talk about the 2026 World Cup itself, because this tournament is historic in several ways.
It's the first World Cup with 48 teams, expanded from 32, which means more nations than ever before are participating. More stories, more surprises. The early stages of the tournament are full of giant killings. That's the expression when a much smaller or lower-ranked team beats a famous, powerful one. A giant killing. The giant is the favorite, and they are killed, metaphorically, by someone no one expected.
Giant killing is one of those football phrases that captures something universal, the underdog story, the moment when the expected order of things is overturned.
Exactly. And the host nations have their own pressure. The United States, Canada, and Mexico are all participating. And for each of them, playing on home soil carries enormous emotional weight. Home soil, or home turf, is another expression that has moved into general English. It means your own territory, your own environment, the place where you are most comfortable and most supported. Playing on home turf gives a team an advantage. The crowd, the familiarity, the absence of travel.
Let's talk about one more piece of football vocabulary that has genuinely entered everyday English. Hat trick.
A hat trick is when one player scores 3 goals in a single match. And the term doesn't come from football originally. It comes from cricket, where a bowler who took 3 wickets in 3 balls was traditionally given a hat. The achievement was adopted into football, and now hat trick is used in any context where someone achieves 3 successes in a row. A politician who wins 3 elections in succession has scored a hat trick. A business that achieves record profits for 3 years running. The word has escaped football entirely.
Like so many football expressions, the beautiful game has given English so much language.
It has. And the phrase, the beautiful game itself, that's football's great nickname. Attributed to Pelé, the Brazilian legend, though the precise origin is disputed, but the phrase captures something real. At its best, football is genuinely beautiful. The movement, the skill, the connection between players, the moments of individual brilliance. There is an aesthetic dimension to the sport that goes beyond competition.
So for our listeners who are watching the World Cup 2026, how should they use it to improve their English?
Watch with English commentary. Even if your first language has a commentary available, choose English. The commentators use extraordinary language, vivid, emotional, sometimes poetic. They use idioms, metaphors, dramatic structures. And because football is visual, you always have context. You can see what the word refers to. That connection between the word and the image in front of you is one of the most powerful ways to fix vocabulary and memory.
And talk about it. Find someone, a friend, a colleague, an online community, and discuss the matches in English. Describe a goal you saw, explain a controversial moment, argue about a tactical decision. Football generates opinions, and opinions require language. The stronger your feelings, the more you will reach for words to express them.
We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which team are you supporting in 2026? What's your favorite football word or expression? Drop it below. We read every single comment, and we are always so glad to hear which moments of the tournament have stayed with our listeners.
And if this episode helped you today, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who is learning English. It means an enormous amount to us every time someone passes these conversations on.
Thank you so much for being here with us.
Remember, you are not just learning English. You are learning the language the whole world speaks when they watch football together.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.